There's lots of information in there. We have articles, publications that have been put out. We sell stuff to raise funds, like the UDC ladies to build the memorials. Now we're raising funds to defend the memorials against the desecration.
Well, sir, thank you very much. Thanks for coming on today. Thanks for your service. And I'm going to have Ed back to talk on a show about how he was fired due to wokeism from his job as a professor of history at the Army Command and General Staff College. We'll see you tomorrow. It's Training Tuesday here on Worldview Tube.
All right, we're going to go to Annie Cyrus, but first, did you see the interview between Tucker Carlson and Mother Agapia Stephanopoulos? Did you see the unedited version? Here we go. Watch this.
So how are Christians doing in the Holy Land? Like, what's the situation?
You know, what a lot of people don't understand is they think Hamas is some terrorist organization. They're just a resistance movement. When they drag their own people through the streets and put their dead bodies on their family's doorstep because they're collaborators with Israel, I mean, they're resisting.
I mean, last time I checked, treason is a crime. I mean, it's a crime in this country, and you get the death penalty. So I just don't understand the difference, really. I don't.
And look at what happened with the Nova Music Festival. I mean, the music was incredibly loud. It was EDM. And this is loud music. It's very disruptive.
Yes, very loud, like really loud. I mean, and it could damage your ears, like severely damage your ears.
Exactly. And so, to my understanding, they made several requests to lower the music. They sent people over saying, please keep it down, and the Israelis refused.
So wait, you're saying Hamas kindly requested that they turn down the music and they just refused? Why?
So they had no other choice but to slaughter all of the attendees. And it's been very challenging for decades. I remember in 2002, there was a 17-year-old boy who was arrested because he allegedly threw a Molotov cocktail at an Israeli soldier. But this was a Molotov cocktail. He was making a mixed drink, perhaps, to try to offer it to a soldier. Sometimes, you know, you go to bars and they light the alcohol on fire because it's fun to take a shot.
I mean, I enjoy alcohol, I really do. I shouldn't drink as much as I do, but I drink a lot, like a lot. I would certainly accept that offering. Why wouldn't the soldier accept a drink if it was being offered to him peacefully?
It's possible the Israeli soldier misunderstood that, but they accused him of throwing it, and it lit the soldier on fire. You know, it's nothing you can't just put out with your hand. But they arrested him, and these are the kind of things that are happening.
Yeah, it sounds excessive.
I remember I was leading a group of American Christians, and I took them to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. And
wait, I thought you said that Christians weren't allowed to visit the Church of the Holy Sepulchre.
Shh, Tucker. We're trying to perpetuate a narrative here.
Of course. I'm sorry. I was actually genuinely curious there for a second. Like genuinely curious. I'm sorry. Old habits die hard.
Play along, okay?
You were saying, I'm sorry, continue.
In Israeli society, the Christians are completely oppressed.
I mean, you're a Christian. Clearly you're a Christian. Why don't they let you be a Christian? I don't understand.
There's no freedom of religion. There's no freedom in our society to live as we'd like to live and worship as we'd like to worship.
And have you been able to convert anybody in the West Bank to Christianity?
Pass.
What's that?
Hard pass. Next question.
I love that. So I guess my last question to you, and I think where a lot of Americans and people in the West would be confused, is that, you know, we've seen a massive decline in Christians across the Middle East, in Egypt, Lebanon, Syria, Iraq. Even in the West Bank under the Palestinian Authority, we've just seen decimated communities, like completely gone. And Christians just persecuted and slaughtered in mass across the world. And so I'm just wondering, like, what are your thoughts on that? I totally agree. So what do we do going forward? What's the next step?
You know, they've been trying to keep this story quiet, and, you know, I guess everybody has their secrets.
Oh, I mean, we all have secrets, of course. I mean, I was molested by a demon.
Yes, and I'm a man.
I mean, it's not such a secret.
Hey.
It's great to have you. Is your name Brigitte?
Okay, a little humor is good for the soul, right? Joining me now is Annie Cyrus, liveuptofreedom.com, liveuptofreedom.substack.com. Annie, we did a whole hour on this last night with Aaron. Today, Dr. Woods, Dr. Lindstedt, with some new clips that I found even more to play today. This is going viral. Tucker has clearly been telling us where he's going, but this, I think, for many was like, are you kidding me? You're going to let a woman sit there and defend Hamas? I asked my guest today, has Tucker ever read the charter of Hamas? I can bring up some of the charter of Hamas while you respond, but how on earth did we get here? Remember when you and I and Aaron and probably Usama Dakdok and Sharam Hadian on the Saturday America time, after the slaughter of the Jews, 1,200 murdered, burned, raped, babies' feet cut off, babies put in the oven, people gang raped, burned. How did we get to where someone like Tucker Carlson is going to give a lady a platform, I guess it's a lady, to defend Hamas? How did we get here? Although I must say, you and I and Aaron predicted this would happen. We kept warning our audience that day. My friends, you'll be shocked at how fast this boomerangs on Israel. You'll be shocked. Wait for it. It's going to happen. And boy, did it. Can you believe all that, Annie?
Can I believe it? Yes. Am I shocked? No. Am I disappointed? Absolutely.
So
I am
you're not shocked at the speed of which this has happened? The mainstreaming of Hamas?
No, not at all. And remember, this Tucker Carlson specifically, let me go to Tucker first before the rest of them. Tucker Carlson in last 6 months has openly showed us where he's going with his platform. This isn't the first time, at least for me, that I was, thinking, oh, great, another proof. Remember, Tucker is also the man who sat down and did a full, as he called it, awkward interview with the president of Iran right after the 12 days Israel-Iran war, and gave him a platform to make Israel look like the bad guy and Iran like the best peaceful country in the region. Promoting IRGC, right after that promoting Hamas? No, I'm not shocked. That's where Tucker has been aiming since he left, even though I received a lot of backlash. But when he left Fox News, I said on one of my shows that don't expect him to be your hero. He's gonna start needing to fund himself. And unfortunately, our side, Brannon, either we like it or not, we don't have the funding the other side has. Most of us, we don't put our money where our mouth is. So if you notice, a lot of quote-unquote conservative Christians started leaning towards the middle and then joining the other side because they wanted to keep their fancy lifestyle going. And the only way to do that is to join the other side, because the other side, like Islamic Republic of Iran, will pay you whatever you need to be paid to make Israel look like the bad guy, and make IRGC, Hamas, Hezbollah, all of them look like the good guys. This is a propaganda machine funded. Yes.
Can I just stop you right there for a minute, because you're making a very interesting point, and one I really didn't think of till right now, and that is, isn't it interesting that apparently the billions of dollars that were run through USAID to fund, I mean, he say that was a CIA front, billions of dollars run through it to go to all kinds of so-called media journalist groups, right, on the right and the left, apparently. Isn't it interesting that after this President Trump comes into office, second term, that funding is shut down? Where are you going to make up the gap for that funding? Am I onto anything here, Annie?
That's exactly what I'm saying. Yes. Yes. We considered that a win, and it is internally. Well, what we underestimated is how much windows and doors we opened for the enemy to fund their own propaganda machine now, with all these big names and big networks and big platforms left with no money. And let's be honest, Brannon, 99% of those behind microphones out there aren't doing it for the right reason. They're doing it because they got used to the idea that channels like CNN or Fox News is going to give them millions a year to sit there and repeat a script. These people aren't investigative journalists. None of them were. from day one. Let's name names. Tucker Carlson, was he ever an investigative journalist? No. He was the news anchor who later on got a big research team behind him through Fox News to sit there and get him all the breaking news before anybody else could. He never done the work himself. As you said, he never sat there and read anything, including the Charter of Hamas or the Constitution of Islamic Republic of Iran, openly saying that this revolution was to open the path for global Islamization. Neither was Candace Owens. Candace, from day one, first she was the, oppressed black woman who found liberty in Republican Party. And then from there, overnight, she became a huge name with a team of funding and researchers and writers and producers and camera person and editors to make her look bigger and bigger. But then again, all of them ended up having to walk away from the networks and then realize, oh, wait, I can't get those millions sitting here reading. So they started being snatched by the enemy.
So you think that some of these people are actually being funded by, whether it's Russian groups, Chinese groups, Iranian groups, maybe the money gets pushed through who knows what organizations and on to others. I mean, do we have a paper trail? Is anyone researching that paper trail?
I am researching, but honestly, a lot of them are, looks like a lot of them are funding through, as you said. I don't think even, I'm not saying Tucker is innocent, but I don't think even Tucker knows a lot of his funding is coming from the enemy. They're sending the money through other sponsors that are giving the money. Even honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if I am investigating. I don't have any evidence to give you tonight, but I won't be surprised if we even end up finding ties to Soros organizations through these fundings.
Look at this from this is my series. How long is my series on Hamas that's in the vault, Logan? I want to say it's like 11 hours. 11 1-hours that I did on Hamas. What, 5 years ago now, Logan? He's checking it out. I'll tell you after I read it. This is from that series. Introduction, The Covenant of the Islamic Resistance Movement, Hamas, August 18th, 1988. Hamas in America, yeah, that's what the series is called. Yeah. Our struggle against Jews is a very great and very serious. It needs all the sincere efforts. It is a step that inevitably should be followed by other steps. The movement is but one squadron that should be supported by more and more squadrons from the vast Arab and Islamic world until the enemy is vanquished and Allah's victory is realized. Does that sound like resistors to you? People just resisting that are willing to stop getting suicide bombing if they just get a little bit of land and Israel has the rest? Oh, wait a minute. No. To the enemy is vanquished. The Hamas part that this is coming from is 11 1-hour shows. What year did I do those, Logan? August of 2019. August of 2019, and I did 11 1-hours on Hamas. So if you guys want to understand Hamas, 11 1-hours of documentation like this inside the vault. How did he know I was going to promote the vault? worldviewtube.com/vault. worldviewtube.com/vault. Here's Article 13 of the Covenant of the Islamic Resistance Movement. This is Hamas. Quote, there is no solution for the Palestinian question except through jihad. Initiatives, proposals, and international conferences are all a waste of time and vain endeavors, end quote. So I only through the killing of Jews, through jihad. Because, oh, there's different kinds of jihad. Well, that's true. But what is the main one Hamas practices, which is the terrorist wing of Muslim Brotherhood, which was started, by the way, what year? Muslim Brotherhood, 1928. Excuse me, Muslim Brotherhood founded in 1928. Then they founded Hamas in 87. And then they found CARE in 1994. Let me go back to a couple more and then get a response from Annie. Article 6 of Hamas Charter. The Islamic Resistance Movement is a distinct Palestinian movement which owes its loyalty to Allah, derives from Islam, its way of life, and strives to raise the banner of Allah over every inch of Palestine. That's Israel, folks. Every inch. They don't want a little piece. They want it all. Article 2 of the Hamas Charter. Quote, the Islamic Resistance Movement is one of the wings of Muslim Brotherhood in Palestine. which constitutes the largest Islamic movement in modern times. And Muslim Brotherhood, folks, is all over the U.S. All over the U.S. Article 7 of the Hamas Charter, quote, the Islamic resistance movement aspires to the realization of Allah's promise, no matter how long that should take. The Prophet, Allah bless him and grant him salvation, has said the day of the judgment will not come until Muslims fight the Jews. When the Jew will hide behind stones and trees. Stones and trees will say, oh, Muslims, oh, Abdullah, there's a Jew behind me. Come and kill him, end quote. I could keep going. Do you think Tucker Carlson knows or even cares about the Hamas charter that I just read?
Well, if I could add one more, one of the Hamas parliament members, Fathi Hamad, he actually said on one of his speeches, televised the speech in 2008, for the Palestinian people, death has become an industry. The elderly excel at this, and so do the children. This is why they have formed a human shield. And I quoted that on my Today Substack that came out earlier this afternoon, the human shield of Gaza. This is one of the members of Hamas who was in the parliament saying this in 2008. So, no, Tucker Carlson, now, I will say this. I'm not going to say no. Tucker might have read the charter of Hamas, or Tucker might have heard some of their members talk. But the question is, does Tucker care? The answer is no. Tucker Carlson doesn't care. Because here's the thing, when you get this woman and give her a microphone, you know, Brannon, you've done this for over 30 years. Mm-hmm. You have, not that I ever recall, at least in the 9 years I have worked with you, you don't go just randomly pick up a name that's trending and give him a microphone. You do your due diligence. When the first time you were going to fly me to Memphis to be part of your documentary, The Siege, the only reason you picked up the phone and called me without running a background check on me was because Phil Haney vouched for me.
That's right.
And even with that, when we met first time in person, you very politely ran a quick questionnaire on me before you even let me sit at your desk and do the part. My point is, when Tucker gives a microphone to someone like Pezeshkian, which is the president of Islamic Republic of Iran, or this woman, Mother, however we say her name, I can't even say it. Agapia, without even looking into the person, forget about their message, forget about Hamas, looking into this woman's background. The funny, very, very well done clip you played at the beginning of our segment makes a great point. It doesn't matter what you're saying. Let's just fill in the hour, get the show out there so we can get the money. That's what Tucker's doing. And let's not forget, all of these Tucker Carlson shows are pre-recorded. They're not live. So you didn't know the woman. You got halfway through the discussion and you realize she's promoting Hamas, Islamization, bashing Israel for absolutely zero evidence. Don't release the show. Stop her, say, okay, listen, thank you for coming, but I'm not putting this propaganda out there. But Tucker Carlson doesn't care. None of them do. Their position isn't about the truth or defending Christ or protecting America. As I said, it's about their lifestyle. They are not willing to leave life any day with a penny less than they had yesterday. It's the greed, it's the money, it's the power. To expect them to read anything or know the truth or investigate their facts, I think we're asking for too much of these people. Well, hello everybody, it's Annie Cyrus. Welcome to my artist studio where all the magic happens. This is the station for painting, and that is the station for all the resin art I do. If you want to check out my art, all you gotta do is go to lutfstudio.com. Finish this painting, but I'm sure, for at least I hope, I'll see you at lutfstudio.com.
And then 19, God comes back, the Lord God comes back at the second coming and slaughters all of these that are warring against God in the battle of Armageddon. And then he judges the false prophet and Satan and Antichrist. But Revelation 18 seems to be, in part, the beginning of the answer. The destruction of the New World Order headquartered in Babylon, I think 58 miles south of Baghdad. That area is being built up, by the way, with the fall port and everything else. And it says, because she, Babylon, has killed the saints and shed their blood. So there'll be the saints in heaven saying, how long, O Lord? Because of will you judge? Because they killed us and they're killing more on earth. They seem to know in heaven a little bit of what's happening on the earth, and they certainly know what happened to them. So when I sit here and say, Lord, lead Tucker to repent or judge him, that's a biblical prayer. But God will do it. But I am ready to see God judge these people that are sitting here blaspheming the church, the real church, his bride, Christians, and siding up, as you say, Annie, with the side of Satan, because Allah is Satan. Look at this. The head of the KGB between 1967 and 1982, the head of the KGB, folks, Yuri Andropov, personally pushed Nazi-style hatred of Jews in the Islamic world, aiming to turn Arab resentment into a terrorist bloodbath against Israel and the U.S. He later led the Soviet Union, 1982 to 84. Isn't that interesting, Annie? They wanted to use this to strip the Islamic world to create a bloodbath against Israel and the U.S. They're working on Israel, and now that same group is taking over America, the red-green axis, the Marxist and the Islamist. And yet, you and I are the few people that see Russia is aligned with Iran. Russia is aligned with North Korea. Russia is aligned with so many other nations, Turkey, China. All these groups want our demise. And I know people defend Russia and they defend Putin. And I will when I think, hey, European leaders, you're provoking a war with this guy. Why would you want to do that? That's not me defending Putin. That's me wanting our leaders in the world to be smart and not get us into World War III. That's not me defending Putin. Putin is aligned with all the countries that hate not only America, and most of them Israel, but he's aligned with Islamic nations that worship Satan and want the death of Christians and are slaughtering Christians throughout the Middle East. Annie?
Yes, and let's face it, Russia, not even naming any specific leader. Russia, its history, if you actually study the history of Russia, Russia has been always more worried about power than ever cared about any faith, for that matter. A lot of people think Soviet Union collapsed, but did it? Brannon, did it?
Well, that's the point I make in my documentary, Siege, is did it? Did it really collapse, or was that a head fake because they knew that they couldn't keep up with the U.S.? They were having economic problems. They faked their collapse, if you will. While they were collapsing, they also said, well, go ahead and do it. They opened themselves up to aid from the West, technology from the West, and then they used a lot of that technology for their military purposes as well. It had civilian and military application, and they used it. And look at where they are now today. They're on fifth and sixth generation warfare technology we don't even have, according to four-star generals before Congress.
And that is exactly what I refer to on all my writings as the rebranding of the enemy. They did it with Russia. They did it right now as we speak. They're doing that rebranding with Syria. Look at the aids, look at the help, look at the handshakes, look at all of that that's going to Syria. They did it with Pakistan. Look at Pakistan nuclear capabilities. The question is, when are we going to learn to stop looking at the surface and dig a little deeper and realize this is all PR?
It's propaganda, isn't it?
Absolutely. And it didn't start last year. It didn't start with Obama. It's been going on way longer than we started paying attention.
And this is what the former KGB officer said in my documentary, Seed, or Sabotage.
Sabotage.
Yeah. Look at this. 1970, Palestinian Liberation Organization was expelled from Jordan after launching a civil war there, known as Black September. It resulted in the Soviet Union intensifying its aid for the PLO, but now started supplying arms and funds, mainly via Lebanon. Another source of Soviet weapons for Palestinian terrorists was opened when the communist state of South Yemen was created in 1967. It was there that Wadi Haddad received a lot of his Soviet weapons. In 1974, Soviet backing helped the PLO gain UN observer status, legitimizing their anti-Israel narrative globally, framed as a Marxist struggle against Western imperialism. It increased anti-Zionist narratives in the UNGA. KGB's 1965 UN push to label Zionism as racism failed, but succeeded in 1975 with Resolution 3379, amplifying PLO's anti-Israel propaganda worldwide until it was revoked in a new UN vote in 1991. Arafat's 1970 Moscow visit, hosted by Brezhnev, solidified Soviet PLO ties. The KGB started providing $200,000 monthly to Arafat via Romania's security agency chief, Ion Asipa, for anti-Israel operations. Soviet books like Yuri Ivanov's Caution Zionism, 1969, spread anti-Zionist tropes, radicalizing Palestinians by equating Israel with Nazism and imperialism. The Soviets made sure to send tens of thousands of copies to the Middle East. The head of the Palestinian Authority, Mahmoud Abbas, wrote his PhD thesis in 1982 in Moscow. It denied the Holocaust, spread Soviet-produced lies to fuel Palestinian anti-Zionist militancy. The Soviet collapsed in 91, or did it?
Did it?
Ended direct KGB support, but decades of Marxist propaganda via PLO left a lasting anti-Israel radicalism in Palestinian society, fueling the ongoing conflict. Russia continues its support for Palestinian terrorists such as Hamas. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Is Russia aligned to this day, 2025, with Hamas, Annie?
Absolutely. Russia has always been aligned with, now this is a historical facts about PLO, but if you go even further back, you see the alignment or alliance of Russia, or also known as Soviet Union, with Iran's times and dynasties of Islamists. As you established earlier, they have used Islam for the chaos, for the benefits, for making themselves relevant in Middle East over and over and over. And as from their government to, as I said, their Orthodox Church has always been a support from day one. They have supported the PLO and openly at times Hamas. They have defended Hamas. Just like their latest member, this mother sitting there defending Hamas. With a straight face saying Hamas is not necessarily a terrorist group.
So where do you think this is all headed, Annie?
Unfortunately, I truly believe that if Christians don't stop helping spreading all of these lies, this is going to go exactly where we've been expecting it, way faster than we were expecting it, where Jews and Zionists are going to be openly and publicly targeted. And I mean, in hurtful ways, not targeted by a bunch of keyboard ninjas. No, I mean actual attacks and bodily harm to Jews and Zionists. Because that's the thing, anti-Semitism been skyrocketing for sure. But as you've noticed, Brannon, now the narrative also has the Zionist, Christian Zionist in it. That's also becoming a target. So if Christians don't stop spreading all of these lies, we might very soon see the, attacks on Jews and Zionists. It is in America now. I mean, last I checked, Tucker Carlson is in America.
Right.
And he's helping this machine to spread that message. I mean, he has no problem sitting there arguing with Ted Cruz over verses of Bible, and where does it say we have to protect Israel? But he had no argument with this mother, right? None. No biblical argument with her. Right there, you should see where he's going. He has spent his whole interview. I'm not saying Ted Cruz did a great job, don't get me wrong, but as someone who conducted few interviews myself, if I have enough arguments of biblical verses with one guest, I'll have enough of it with the other one too. But when I keep my mouth shut and don't bring a single biblical verse up while she's disrespecting the Bible, I am telling my audience exactly where my head is, where my heart is.
Annie, your website, liveuptofreedom.substack.com, is so important. It's so important, folks, for you to subscribe. Welcome to the Sharia free zone. She has so many things there.
I strongly suggest for your audience to read my latest from today, Gaza's Human Shield. I know everyone has heard of it, but it is a very different format of it. This is where you see the actual evidence of Hamas committing war crime. I literally have Geneva codes and articles in there of proof. I'm hoping someone, I doubt it, but I pray that some international lawyer is going to grab this information and actually try to drag Hamas to the International Criminal Court for evidence within this one Substack showing that they are committing not just against Jews. Forget it. We want to worry about the Palestinian victims. We want to worry about the Muslim victims. Here's your evidence. Take Hamas to court. They are committing war crime against Palestinians and Muslims.
Well, there it is. Gaza's Human Shields. liveuptofreedom.substack.com. liveuptofreedom.substack.com. And don't forget about her art. LUTFstudio.com. LUTFstudio.com. All handmade by Annie. Beautiful artwork, including dominoes, checkers. These all make great Christmas gifts. And by the way, you better get on board and get these before they sell out if you want any of them for Christmas, because the orders flood in and she can't keep up and the inventory goes real low. So if you're wanting to get, because she makes these herself, handmade, okay? There's only one Annie. She also has another job. So if you want to get any of them for any Christmas gifts, you better do it sooner rather than later, because the inventory won't last. Then she'll have to build it back up after the new year. So they go, liveuptofreedom.substack.com, but her studio is LUTFstudio.com. Annie, I mean, we're one of the few networks that's holding the line. I hope our audience, I know our audience appreciates it. I hope they'll subscribe to your Substack. I hope they'll buy art from you. I hope they'll support us. Because frankly, we're one of the last games in town, as they say. We're one of the last groups around. Not many groups saying this. You know it. I know it. Most Christian radio won't even cover this. Most churches in America won't even cover this, much less conservative TV, and certainly not from a Christian biblical worldview perspective. I mean, we are really in a famine spiritually in this nation. It's hard to believe. Almost every house in America has at least one Bible, if not more. But there is a massive spiritual famine in the land. We just don't even have shepherds teaching anymore. We've got a lot of hirelings, but we don't even have churches, many left, that teach the Bible in context. And we really can't expect the conservative arena to do the job of the church being Christians, but church isn't doing it. Christian radio is not doing it by and large. Most Christian networks have long gone to just playing happy music in a big tent, raising all the money they can with a big tent. And as soon as you bring up these kind of topics, you're going to divide your crowd down big time. Particularly if you want to appeal to today's young people, you better not discuss this. Are you agreeing?
Absolutely, 100%. And here's another thing, Brannon, I mentioned on my show yesterday and Monday, I believe. I said, how did we get here? Christians are the majority of population of Earth. At the same time, Christians are the most persecuted population on Earth. Make that make sense. Because we are the silent majority on Earth. We keep keeping quiet about ourselves because we want to make sure the spotlight goes to the minority. What we don't realize is soon we will be the minority because they took us out one by one. We cannot continue being quiet, trying to coexist, trying to get along. We can't keep doing that. If we do that, as you said, as Logan mentioned to you today, there will be very soon a generation of godless people out there. And we played a role. If we kept quiet, if we didn't discuss Bible, if we didn't defend Christ, we are to be blamed for the godless generation that's coming after us. We will be held accountable. And as far as networks, yes, I can say in last 4 months, Brannon, the only network that has had Annie Cyrus on their shows, yours, Tamara Scott had me on 2 or 3 times. The only network that has invited me to come on to talk about Iran, Israel-Iran war, Palestine, been Worldview Tube. I have not been receiving a single phone call from any other conservative network, even when I wrote them and I said, you need to have me on to talk about these 12 days. I received nothing in return, not even a no thanks for your offer. So yes, I wouldn't say you're one of the rare channels. I would say you are the only network, at least when it comes to red, green axis and Islamization. You are the only network that's going to invite me. It's going to invite Sharon Hadian, Yosama Dakdok, Amin Farid yesterday. You are the only network. And every day on my show on your network, which again, no other network's picking up my show. They're all worried about their sponsors dropping them because I'm too loud. I literally had a network saying, we love your show, but you're too loud. I'm like, I can lower down my volume. They laughed. They said, we mean you have no filter. I was like, oh, so the new term for no filter is too loud. Got it. I mentioned, and I repeatedly mentioned, and I know your audience are already aware, but supporting your network is not just supporting Brannon Howse and your wonderful professional control room. It is also supporting silenced voices like mine and Sharon Hadian and the rest of us. Because if your network isn't there, Brannon, we're all going to be silenced again. You're the only platform that's allowing us to come up and say what needs to be said. Of course, you always ask us to have our receipt and facts, and you don't let us just come and speculate, which is wonderful. But you're giving us a platform. So I do encourage your audience, anybody, if you have, if you can skip your next morning Starbucks, do that and send in a tax-deductible donation.
Well, thank you for that, Annie. You're right that our platform is not just about this broadcast. It's about Patrick Wood, you, Usama, Sharam, Dr. Woods, Rob Lindstead, Arnold Manus, Mara Scott. I mean, there's so many. And Patrick Wood has said he's been canceled. Google and all these people are shadow banning him. He said, I can't get the traffic I used to get. They changed the algorithm. And without platforms like Worldview Tube, who have a pretty good sized direct mail piece, we do direct mail piece to our audience. We literally do direct mail back to our audience, old fashioned direct mail, because it's so hard to get emails to our people. We go the old fashioned route. We're on 74 Christian stations, which allow us to mention this network. So you're right. Right now, we're using our platform to be a platform for others. And if they take us down, if they penalize us, which the IRS just stole $49,000 some odd dollars from us, stole it, literally stole it from us, threatening to seize our bank accounts if we didn't pay up money that they twice in a letter said we didn't owe. And when even the IRS agent said, this is ridiculous, you shouldn't be paying this, their supervisor said, no, make him pay it. Well, he has 2 abatement letters. We don't care, make him pay it. My opinion, your opinion, I think, Annie, I will speak for you, is that we're being targeted because of the fact we do cover what we cover. Closing comment?
Absolutely, yes. We are being targeted, and they are hoping, which they should have stopped hoping. It's false hope. Me and Brannon and the rest of World YouTube, we're not going to change sides because we need our paycheck. No, we are not. And that's the problem. When they did it, they think the rest of us will. No, there are still a handful of us who, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, listen, I went through 3 years of refugee status, not the fancy illegals you see here with hotel rooms and debit cards and cell phones. No, I mean, genuine refugee in Turkey, where I had to sleep literally on the floor with a newspaper under me and a bag of potatoes for 30 days as my food. God got me through that. I'm not worried about my bills. Neither am I worried about my paychecks. I don't need anybody to provide for me because God provides. But they are hoping if they squeeze and corner us enough, we're just going to change side or go silent, quiet, never talk about it, and they will win this. But again, we're on the right side, Brannon. No matter what they try to do, we both know what the end is, and we know we are playing our role, and we're going to continue doing what we can. And Lord willing, your network will stand strong so I can get a platform too.
Amen. And folks, please understand, what Tucker did with this woman is a direct assault on biblical truth, Christians, committed Christians. So don't just pass this off. Oh, that's geopolitics. That's, something happening over there. I believe this was a direct spiritual attack on Christians. And it's going to keep going as they seek to marginalize us, characterize us, and pretty soon, and in some ways they already are, terrorizing us. And then they're going to legalize the terrorizing. Marginalize, characterize, terrorize, and then legalize the terrorizing of Christians, Zionists, Jews. Do I agree with every Jew? No. Do I agree with every Christian? No. But they're going to make it so that it is legally acceptable to target the people they disagree with. And so don't think that what just went down was just politics and noise. It was a direct spiritual attack. It is what you're going to see an increase of until we are so marginalized that Christians that stand for the truth in the Bible and what the Bible says and believe in it, we are going to be considered the problem. We're divisive, we're narrow-minded, we're bigoted. They'll come up with all kinds of words. Extremism, made up, myth, fallacy, fantasy land, cuckoo, conspiracy theorist. They'll come up with all kinds of names until they've done their best to marginalize what's left of the American church. And there's not much left. I mean, not everybody's bowed the knee to Baal yet, folks. But they are going to continue to this agenda until you see it is going to be very evident who are the real committed Christians. We're about to hold our national conference. And we used to have regularly, now we've been doing this national conference 22 years. We used to regularly have 1,800 to 2,000, up to 2,800 people. You know what's happened in 22 years? A lot of my audience has either died or they become too old. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've died or they've become too old. It's not that they just checked out and said, oh, we don't care anymore. No, we did that for years. At least 1,800, 1,500. You could count on it. But we're doing 2,000, 2,300, 2,800. Now, it's harder to get a crowd to come to our national conference. Why? Because a lot of those folks, they've gone on to glory. And those that haven't, they're too old. If you started something 22 years ago and the average age was 60, well, how old are they now, right? 82. If they were 65, 70, right? A lot of them aren't here. This is a worldview that is literally dying off because there's not people going to the Bible. There are people attacking the Bible, and it's being attacked by mainstream broadcasters like Tucker Carlson. As my wife said last night when I got off the air, Brannon, did you ever think you'd see the day where someone like Tucker Carlson would become so anti-Christian?
Mm-hmm.
Closing comment, Annie?
You said it best, and yes, what Tucker did. Yes, it is direct attack on us, but it's also very enabling and empowering of the enemy. If he continues, and people like him, and I will specifically say Candace Owens, if they continue, and if people continue enabling them, this Islamization is going to grow way faster. And again, your audience is very well aware of the end goal of Islam. They need to wipe all of us off the map or convert.
Mm-hmm.
So he needs to be held accountable. I understand you prayed for him to repent or be judged. But I also think on this earth, as humans, we have the power to show, and I mean, by boycotting and not watching, that's what I'm referring to, but we need to hold him accountable. Those who can write to him, show your, concern with what he did, and don't let him grow bigger, because we can't have people like Tucker Carlson helping the enemy in major ways. He is. I don't know. I think he is aware of what he's doing, but even if he isn't, that doesn't make a difference. We need to hold him accountable, and anyone else like him. Those who have millions of eyes on them and billions of dollars coming in, they need to be held accountable. That microphone they hold in front of them, that comes with responsibility, and it's time to remind them.
Well said. Ephesians 5:11. Ephesians 5:11 have nothing to do with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather expose it.
Amen.
That's what we just did. Annie Cyrus, liveuptofreedom.com. Thank you, Annie.
Thank you, Brannon. Be safe.
You too. Annie Cyrus checking in, liveuptofreedom.com. And thank you guys for all of you that do pray for us, that do support us, that make this broadcast possible. We are a listener-supported network. Worldviewfoundation.com, worldviewfoundation.com. And folks, now you know why I'm pushing our national conference so hard. I think it's important for Christian groups like us to gather together. Don't you? I could say, this will be the last year I'm going to do a national conference. There's not enough people that want to hear this kind of truth anymore. I could say that. But yet we know we have a lot of people watching. Well, there's a lot of people that just can't afford to come to an event like this anymore with the cost of living. That's true. I agree. There's a lot of people that would rather just watch it on their flat screen television, their iPad, and not travel here. Well, that's true too. A lot of work and a lot of expense to organize the theater and the speakers to come in and do that. It is. Oh, believe me, I thought about not continuing this a couple of years ago. But part of me says we've got to continue to provide a place for Christians to come together collectively to encourage one another. I need to see you. I need to shake your hand. I need to see you in person. I sit in a dark studio hours and hours out of the day. Don't even know what the weather is doing, except for when I hear the clap of thunder or get up and leave the studio for a moment. I have to have some contact with our audience. I think you need some contact with me and our other hosts and broadcast partners. You need that. I think it's important to build that relationship, that credibility that can only really be done to one degree in person. But I think it's important that we as Christians gather together. And that's why I've kept doing this conference. And maybe we'll reach a point where enough people financially can afford to come and be with us, and we won't hold a conference in person anymore. We'll just do it all virtual. Maybe we'll do that one day. Maybe next year, I don't know. But I do know, I think it's important that we send the message that we're gathering together, like-minded Christians from all over the country. And I promise you, when you leave, you're going to say, I'm so glad I made the trip to be there. We heard that from so many people for so many years, that it's an event they come to every year, and they leave so encouraged. And they can't wait to get back together again with like-minded believers and Christians and Americans. This is a vacation with a purpose in one degree. I've used that slogan for years, a vacation with a purpose. But it's more than that. It's a conference. It's a conference for equipping people, encouraging people, edifying people. Very important that we gather together. So I hope that you will book the conference. We brought the price down to $99, as cheap as we could get it. We're not even trying to make money on it. We're not trying to. We'll be lucky. We'll be fortunate to break even. We're not doing it for money. It's a resource because I need to be encouraged. You need to be encouraged. We need to encourage each other. So I hope you'll show up. I hope you'll turn up. If you can't make it, I hope you'll tweet it, text it, email, Facebook, Get Her Truth Social, spread the word. 350 seats. What a shame if we can't fill 350 seats. Again, I know a lot of you want to watch it online if you're a member of the vault. But I think, we used to do 1,800 regularly. Surely we can fill 350 seats and let the Islamists and the Marxists and the globalists know, no, we're here. We're visible. We're collectively gathering together. We're backing this network and these people, these broadcasters, and these people that proclaim truth. And we're backing our fellow Christians and Americans by our physical presence in the building. So I hope you'll do that. I can't stress enough. Don't believe the lies about Memphis. It's a safe community. I would leave if it wasn't. I don't have to live here. I could live anywhere in the country I want to. I chose to live here, move here 21 years ago. I love it here. It's a safe community. Carterville, Tennessee, Germantown. You'll love it. It's a beautiful area, actually. The town is so beautiful and cute, old-fashioned. Go to our town square. Go to some of these restaurants. Enjoy the barbecue, the Southern cooking. You'll love it. So come join us. Spread the word. Get your tickets now. Encourage us as we encourage you as we gather together October 3rd and 4th. Please do that. Register tonight, will you? Worldviewstore.com, worldviewstore.com. Bring somebody with you. Worldviewstore.com. We'll be right back after this break. Hello, I'm Brannon Howse. I want to thank you for all your support at wvwfoundation.com that helps make possible pushing out 24/7 content for free. Without your support, we'd have to put it all behind a paywall. But thanks to you and your support through our foundation, we're able to push it out for free as a broadcast service and broadcast ministry of WVW Foundation. Please consider going there and setting up an automatic monthly contribution, or go there and make an occasional contribution. If you prefer to support us through the mail, you'll find our mailing address there at wvwfoundation.com. You can also call and make your contribution over the phone by calling 901-825-0652. That's 901-825-0652. Again, all these details are available at wvwfoundation.com. Thank you for your support as we try to help people around the world understand the times through the lens of a Christian worldview. We're about to hold our national conference. And we used to have regularly, now we've been doing this national conference 22 years, we used to regularly have 1,800 to 2,000, up to 2,800 people. You know what's happened in 22 years? A lot of my audience has either died or they become too old. Yeah. They've died or they've become too old. It's not that they just checked out and said, oh, we don't care anymore. No, we did that for years. At least 1,800, 1,500. You could count on it. But we're doing 2,000, 2,300, 2,800. Now, it's harder to get a crowd to come to our national conference. Why? Because a lot of those folks, they've gone on to glory. And those that haven't, they're too old. If you started something 22 years ago and the average age was 60, well, how old are they now, right? 82. If they were 65, 70, right? A lot of them aren't here. This is a worldview that is literally dying off because there's not people going to the Bible. There are people attacking the Bible, and it's being attacked by mainstream broadcasters like Tucker Carlson. As my wife said last night when I got off the air, Brannon, did you ever think you'd see the day where someone like Tucker Carlson would become so anti-Christian?
Mm-hmm.
Closing comment, Annie?
You said it best, and yes, what Tucker did. Yes, it is direct attack on us, but it's also very enabling and empowering of the enemy. If he continues, and people like him, and I will specifically say Candace Owens, if they continue, and if people continue enabling them, this Islamization is going to grow way faster. And again, your audience is very well aware of the end goal of Islam. They need to wipe all of us off the map or convert.
Mm-hmm.
So he needs to be held accountable. I understand you prayed for him to repent or be judged. But I also think on this earth, as humans, we have the power to show, and I mean, by boycotting and not watching, that's what I'm referring to, but we need to hold him accountable. Those who can write to him, show your, concern with what he did, and don't let him grow bigger, because we can't have people like Tucker Carlson helping the enemy in major ways. He is. I don't know. I think he is aware of what he's doing, but even if he isn't, that doesn't make a difference. We need to hold him accountable, and anyone else like him. Those who have millions of eyes on them and billions of dollars coming in, they need to be held accountable. That microphone they hold in front of them, that comes with responsibility, and it's time to remind them.
Well said. Ephesians 5:11. Ephesians 5:11 have nothing to do with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather expose it.
Amen.
That's what we just did. Annie Cyrus, liveuptofreedom.com. Thank you, Annie.
Thank you, Brannon. Be safe.
You too. Annie Cyrus checking in, liveuptofreedom.com. And thank you guys for all of you that do pray for us, that do support us, that make this broadcast possible. We are a listener-supported network. Worldviewfoundation.com, worldviewfoundation.com. And folks, now you know why I'm pushing our national conference so hard. I think it's important for Christian groups like us to gather together. Don't you? I could say, this will be the last year I'm going to do a national conference. There's not enough people that want to hear this kind of truth anymore. I could say that. But yet we know we have a lot of people watching. Well, there's a lot of people that just can't afford to come to an event like this anymore with the cost of living. That's true. I agree. There's a lot of people that would rather just watch it on their flat screen television, their iPad, and not travel here. Well, that's true too. It's a lot of work and a lot of expense to organize the theater and the speakers to come in and do that. It is. Oh, believe me, I thought about not continuing this a couple of years ago. But part of me says we've got to continue to provide a place for Christians to come together collectively to encourage one another. I need to see you. I need to shake your hand. I need to see you in person. I sit in a dark studio hours and hours out of the day. Don't even know what the weather is doing, except for when I hear the clap of thunder or get up and leave the studio for a moment. I have to have some contact with our audience. I think you need some contact with me and our other host and broadcast partners. You need that. I think it's important to build that relationship, that credibility that can only really be done to one degree in person. But I think it's important that we as Christians gather together. And that's why I've kept doing this conference. And maybe we'll reach a point where enough people financially can afford to come and be with us, and we won't hold a conference in person anymore. We'll just do it all virtual. Maybe we'll do that one day. Maybe next year, I don't know. But I do know, I think it's important that we send the message that we're gathering together, like-minded Christians from all over the country. And I promise you, when you leave, you're going to say, I'm so glad I made the trip to be there. We heard that from so many people for so many years, that it's an event they come to every year, and they leave so encouraged. And they can't wait to get back together again with like-minded believers and Christians and Americans. This is a vacation with a purpose in one degree. I've used that slogan for years, a vacation with a purpose. But it's more than that. It's a conference. It's a conference for equipping people, encouraging people, edifying people. Very important that we gather together. So I hope that you will book the conference. We brought the price down to $99, as cheap as we could get it. We're not even trying to make money on it. We're not trying to. We'll be lucky. We'll be fortunate to break even. We're not doing it for money. It's a resource because I need to be encouraged. You need to be encouraged. We need to encourage each other. So I hope you'll show up. I hope you'll turn up. If you can't make it, I hope you'll tweet it, text it, email, Facebook, Get Her Truth Social. Spread the word. 350 seats. What a shame if we can't fill 350 seats. Again, I know a lot of you want to watch it online if you're a member of the vault. But I think, we used to do 1,800 regularly. Surely we can fill 350 seats and let the Islamists and the Marxists and the globalists know, no, we're here. We're visible. We're collectively gathering together. We're backing this network and these people, these broadcasters, and these people that proclaim truth. And we're backing our fellow Christians and Americans by our physical presence in the building. So I hope you'll do that. I can't stress enough. Don't believe the lies about Memphis. It's a safe community. I would leave if it wasn't. I don't have to live here. I could live anywhere in the country I want to. I chose to live here, move here 21 years ago. I love it here. It's a safe community. Carterville, Tennessee, Germantown. You'll love it. It's a beautiful area, actually. The town is so beautiful and cute, old-fashioned. Go to our town square. Go to some of these restaurants. Enjoy the barbecue, the Southern cooking. You'll love it. So come join us. Spread the word. Get your tickets now. Encourage us as we encourage you as we gather together October 3rd and 4th. Please do that. Register tonight, will you? Worldviewstore.com, worldviewstore.com. Bring somebody with you. Worldviewstore.com. We'll be right back after this break.